You're Muslim, I'm Christian. We agree there is no evil in God, right? Okay, but there's evil in me. And maybe there's evil in you. I tend to think there is, but I won't make that judgment call. I know there's evil in me. Okay? So the question is, how am I made right with a morally perfect, holy God?
You ask him.
And does he forgive you?
Yes.
How do you know that?
I know it. It's just because that's what the actual Bible says. The actual Bible says.
Yeah, and the actual Bible talks about lambs being sacrificed, right?
Right, and we don't have the temple anymore. We don't have to do it. Everyone knows this.
Yeah, but what's the whole point of a lamb being sacrificed? Why was blood shed?
The physical presence that it was there,
Yeah.
that doesn't exist today. That's why it's so much. That's why back then people believed in God so much easier than we do now. Everyone here, half the people here don't. Half the people in this circle don't, because it's a struggle and it's hard. Because it's not, that presence not there today, and it's much more of a struggle. It's not because somebody died. It doesn't say, Jesus doesn't even follow the requirements to be the Messiah. The requirements to be the Messiah is A, Jesus will go back to Israel. There'll be a big war, stuff will happen, and eventually we'll all come and he'll rise up. He'll be a descendant of King David.
It's the Sermon on the Mount, his incredible death, forgiving enemies, and then his resurrection. His resurrection sets Christ apart from Moses, Isaiah, Muhammad, Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, the avatars of Hinduism. His resurrection is unique. That's why I seriously would encourage you, check out Jesus.
Also tell you that, and also first off, Moses was not sinless. Moses killed a person, right?
Exactly.
He is the greatest prophet of all time. We both agree?
No. I think Jesus is greater than Moses.
You said Jesus is not a prophet. Jesus.
Good. In that sense, correct. Muhammad sinned, and I respect Muhammad, okay? It's not like I dump on Muhammad. In fact, I love one of his 5 pillars, give alms to the poor. I agree with him totally. In John chapter 8, Jesus looks in the face of his enemies and says, which one of you can prove me guilty of sin? His enemies are silent. A fine Jewish man, the Apostle John, who lived with Christ very closely for 3 years, in 1 John could write, in him is no sin. So that's what the eyewitnesses say. He didn't sin, which is kind of weird, because all the rest of us sin, but not Jesus. So that demands respect. It doesn't mean he's God, obviously, but it demands respect. And then when he claims to be God and then backs it up with an historical resurrection, wow, I really got to take this guy seriously. It's pretty impressive.
Jesus has not filled any of the requirements to be the Messiah.
Okay, good. You're right. He did not fulfill the kingly... No, he fulfilled the suffering servant prophecies, like Isaiah 53. He was the suffering servant who was crushed for our iniquities. But he did not, you're absolutely right, he did not fulfill the kingly messianic prophecies. He said that he would return a second time, and when he returns, it will not be as a baby born in a manger in Bethlehem. It'll be as the all-powerful God, and there will be a day of judgment, and there will be a heaven and a hell. So you see, now the question is, yeah, but Cliff, come on, where does the Bible say that the Messiah is going to come twice? Good question. It doesn't say he's going to come twice. But it also doesn't say he's just going to come once or 5 times. It is silent. So the Old Testament is silent regarding how many times Messiah is to come. Obviously what Jesus is claiming is he comes the first time to fulfill the suffering servant prophecies like Isaiah 53, but when he comes a second time, it'll be to fulfill the kingly messianic prophecies. And there will be a day of judgment, and it will be power, not someone getting nailed to a cross.